All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It is the 18th of December. Sorry I didn't do one yesterday, but there was not really anything that notable yesterday. It was just a partly sunny day. You could see this is what the sky looked like yesterday as the sun was going down. That's what it looked like in the evening. So we did have some clouds around there, partly cloudy conditions. And then today, the same deal pretty much. We had some clouds around as well. Not a clear day. So we did some clouds, as you see there. So this is what the satellite image looked like yesterday. You could see that there was some clearing over Suffolk County for a little bit, but more or less there was partly to mostly cloudy conditions. Today, we also had a lot of clouds around as well. It's just instability from this all circulation here. You see the circulation here. Let's got the satellite loop up here. You can see all that cloudiness there, and a lot of that's from lakes too. Probably lake effect. Probably got lake effect snows going as well. So let's take a look at that. So, let's see. We do have some lake effect snows upstate as well. Nothing crazy, but there's a pretty decent band up in Canada there. And another one in Michigan. So you can see you got the lake effect going, and that's probably seeing some clouds from that too as well. Looking at our weather map, you could see high pressure. We're kind of on the edge of high pressure, but you notice there, if you look closely, you'll see that there are some troughs that are bringing that instability. Generating the clouds, and there may even have been a couple of scattered sprinkles of snow flurries today, but they probably did not reach the ground. So let's look at our current conditions across the country here, and you see we've got the wind chill watches. This is the cold air that's going to be coming to us later next week, actually around Christmas time. We're going to be dealing with some Arctic air, and you still see they're still dealing with winter storm warnings in Maine. And they got hit pretty hard with the snowfall. If we go and we look at, we go up here to the interior New England here, you'll still see they're still dealing with some snow here. But they got hit pretty hard by the snowfall in this area. So storm total reports here out of Maine. And let's see, we got some storm total reports. They got hit pretty hard. I mean, some areas got over 2 feet of snow, and there were a lot of power outages in certain areas. This actually isn't the hardest hit part of Maine. It's the other weather office that's, I think, in this direction. Yeah, this one. This is the one that got hit very hard. So let's see. Here's a map of the wind gusts too as well. So this is the map of the wind gusts throughout the day. Nothing terrible, but again, snowfall reports again. Here are your snowfall reports again in Maine, and you can see some areas hit pretty hard here. Look at that, 27.8 inches, so almost over 2 feet of snow in certain areas, which is quite a lot of snow, Oxford County in particular. And it was a heavy wet snow, so it did wind up sticking to the power lines and causing a lot of power outages. You can see there 25 inches there, Carroll. So this is just a tremendous amount of snow that wound up hitting. One big dump of snow, quite a lot here. It was a very slow-moving storm, and it really just dumped a lot of snow on that area. And let's see, there may still be power outages listed. Yeah, look at this. They're still dealing with power outages. Look at this. Oxford still dealing with a lot of power outages. This was even worse yesterday. But you could see quite a lot of power outages in these areas here due to the snow falling on the trees. And it was a heavy, wet kind of snow, I believe. So that caused a lot of tree damage and power lines to come down. So let's go look at the models. Let's look at our current conditions outside right now. And we'll go over this weekend, how the weather's been this weekend. We will look at islip. Right now it's 34 degrees, dew point 21, west wind at 8. So it's not too windy out right now. Yesterday was certainly windier than today. The winds were a little stronger earlier on, but you could see highs, they only got to the low 40s today. So we're definitely a little bit below normal today. At night, not dropping that back that much because of the wind. So lows at night were around 30 degrees. And then during the day yesterday, we got up, and yesterday was warmer than today. We gotten up into the mid 40s yesterday versus today. So today was definitely colder than yesterday, for sure. So we'll go with our highs and lows across the area here. So first the highs Today, you can see low 40s pretty much everywhere, and I don't think anyone got any radiational cooling last night due to the winds. No, there wasn't any, so lows generally were in the upper 20s to around 30. However, I do see a 23 at West Hampton, so maybe they were able to squeeze just a little bit of radiational cooling in before the winds picked up again. So we have on the weather map, you'll see here, we have this trough in the east. So let's go start with the upper air pattern first. And we'll show you what's going to be coming because there's going to be some really cold air coming after Christmas, coming around Christmas time behind a storm that will originally look like it could have been a big snowstorm, but now it's looking like the track to the west, it'll be rain. So here is the jet stream here, and you'll see there's troughiness in the east. You can see that. And as we get toward Christmas, here comes the storm that's going to hit us around Friday. Look at how deep that trough is. So this is going to be a pretty big. You can see the track is over the Great Lakes, so that keeps us in the rain. And it's sort of a glancing blow, but you do see that trough in the east there as we head toward that part, and then we see some more ridging as we get toward the end of the month again. So yeah, very amplified pattern here in the jet stream. So we'll be switching between above normal and below normal with a pattern like this. So let's go to the heights. And you'll see here on the GFS, you see there's the trough. Sort of lifts out a little bit. And then this is a really deep storm here that goes off to the west here. That's going to bring in that really cold air. But you notice it just tracks straight up north. So with that kind of track, it doesn't mean that cold air is going to stick around. As you see, we start getting back into a ridging pattern, especially as we get toward the end of the month. Always around New Year's, it always seems to. Rarely is New Year's Eve or cold, bitterly cold. Most New Year's Eves I remember, I always have a tendency to be above normal. So let's go to our temperature anomaly chart. Well, actually, before we do that, let me go to the European model, which doesn't go as far out with the 12Z run. See if we see any differences here. Not really. The Euro does seem to keep the troughiness around a little more, though. I noticed that. So there's a little bit of a difference here. So this is the European on December 28th. And this is the GFS. So there is a difference. European wants to keep that trough around, whereas the GFS wants to lift it out. So we do have a bit of a difference in the models on that long range there. So let's now go to the North Conus view, and we will go look at our temperature anomaly chart. And then we'll go look at our surface map, obviously. So as we're heading into this week here, you'll see we're going to be below normal, slightly below normal. You can see that's the Arctic air that's coming, all right? So we'll be slightly below normal to near normal. Then we go above normal with that rain ahead of the front. Friday could be quite warm ahead of that rain. And then here comes the cold air. Most of it seems to go right off to the southeast. So we're not going to really get into the core of it because, again, the way that jet stream is, according to at least the GFS, but we're still going to be below normal. We're still going to be dealing with that Arctic air around Christmas. But then as you see, it lifts out, and then we go above normal again for the rest of the month. So let's now go and take a look at the surface map so you get an idea of what's going to be happening. So high pressure is going to be with us for the next 3 days. So we'll have fair weather, fair and cold weather with decreasing winds as we get toward Tuesday and Wednesday. And then here comes that storm system. Rain moves in late Thursday night into Friday, and it's going to be another soaker again. That's going to be lasting through much of Friday and only exiting on Christmas Eve day. That's Saturday right there. And you can see that really tight, wrapped up low with some really strong winds there behind that low. And that is what's going to bring the cold air down into our area. For Saturday. That is Christmas Eve day, and then Christmas Day will be pretty chilly as well. And the day after Christmas, also we have high pressure in control. So after that, we'll have fair weather for a while. But that could be quite a storm indeed. And of course, it is a ways out. I'll just show it to you on the European model as well. So I'll show this to you on the European model, and you can see pretty much there is that storm just really tightly wound up there, but it keeps us in the warm air with a setup like that. And I don't think the icon is going to go that far out. Let me see if it does. I don't have enough of the 0Z to do that. I don't think it's gonna. It sort of does, yeah. So you can see there, but you see all models agree, storm track to the west, so unfortunately, no snow for us. And it looks like the rain will be raining on top of that snowpack, too, in Maine. They may be dealing with some flooding on top of all that. So how crazy is that? So let's take a closer look at our area, and we'll go to the HRRR model. And we will show you that. And really, there isn't a whole lot going on. You see the lake effect upstate, but other than that, for us, it's fair weather, though. Sunshine and hopefully more sunshine tomorrow, less clouds, especially by Tuesday when that high pressure moves closer to us. Dew points and wind flows. You can see we have west-northwest winds. That continues tomorrow. West-northwest to northwest winds tomorrow. As we get into Tuesday, the winds sort of become a little more northerly and decrease a little bit, as you see. So that's why I think Tuesday we'll probably have more in the way of less in the way of clouds. Go to our temperatures here, and you'll see tonight we'll probably similar lows to last night, upper 20s to around 30, and temperatures tomorrow probably same deal, upper 30s to around 40. Similar temperatures, similar deal tomorrow night. I don't think we'll be seeing radiational cooling if the winds stay up, probably upper 20s for lows. And then for Tuesday, maybe slightly colder, maybe mid to upper 30s with that wind turning more northerly on the HRRR. Now let's go a little further, peer a little further into the future here, and we will go and we'll show you that storm again that we have predicted. So here we are, Wednesday, still dry air in place. You'll start seeing the moisture come in on Thursday. Here, winds becoming southeast, and then here comes a slug of moisture and an LLJ for your Friday before Christmas. LLJ, very humid, strong southeasterly winds. Day before Christmas Eve, Friday before Christmas, ridiculous. And you'll see that LLJ. There's pretty strong winds with that. And then look at that. The front comes through, and the way this is oriented, when the cold front comes through, the winds are going to shift to the west, almost west-southwest. But you'll see this is very cold, dry air. You'll see here dew points only in these dew points here in wind flow. You'll see dew points only in the single digits as we get into that Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve is going to be pretty chilly, and there the winds become a little more on Christmas Day. They become a little more west to northwest. And then we stick with the Arctic air here. So there's the Arctic air still in place here for Monday. So we're going to have the Arctic air for 3 days. And then maybe it starts to subside a little bit by Tuesday here. So there you go. And you'll see eventually conditions will, the air will still be dry, but it won't be that Arctic air. So temperatures, because of that, looking at our temperatures now. So Wednesday, we'll also have mid-30s. So it'll be a little bit slightly below normal to near normal. So we start to see things warm up on Thursday as the winds go more southeasterly, and then here comes the warm 50s for Friday. 50s, it's ridiculous, 50s, and maybe even 60 degrees Friday night with this. This is going to be a very strong cold front that's going to wind up moving through. And this, with a front like this, you never know what could happen. Maybe even severe weather. We have to see. This could be our next big weather maker with severe weather in the country. And then you'll see the temperatures drop very rapidly as we deal with 50s early on, and then after midnight, temperatures drop into the 30s. By morning, we're in the 20s. Saturday, we're not making it out of the upper 20s. We're probably not going to make it above freezing on the Christmas Eve day. Christmas Eve itself, it's going to be bitterly cold. Low temperatures probably in the upper teens and low 20s. And then for Christmas Day itself, maybe a little bit warmer. Maybe we make it to the freezing mark, maybe to 35. But other than that, we're still going to be cold. And then, of course, if we have light winds, we're going to have the radiational cooling. So lows in the low 20s, but could be teens the Monday following Christmas. And then still cold, struggling to make it freezing on the Monday following Christmas. Then you'll see the temperatures moderate as we get to Tuesday, Wednesday. As we get to the final days of the month, you'll see the temperatures go above normal again. All right? So... but this storm here is going to be one that we are going to have to watch. And again, if we look at the precipitation here, you'll see it's mostly all rain because of the storm track. And heavy rain, too, Friday, continuing through Friday. And then the front itself, the rain's going to continue here. And there's the front right there. And that could be maybe ending in a little snow, but I think it cuts off too quickly. But the amount of precipitation that this thing is going to generate is going to be a lot. So if we look at the total accumulated precip here, you'll see another 1 to 2 inches of rain is likely. As far as snowfall goes, that's mainly going to be upstate, up in the mountains. We're not going to see any of that here, probably, unfortunately. So right now, not looking like we're going to have a white Christmas, unfortunately. But one thing I am concerned about, of course, is the wind. So if we look at the wind speeds here, you'll see the kind of winds we're going to be dealing with this LLJ. So we're going to we'll have a better idea as we get closer to it, obviously. But this is definitely the potential for a very stormy day. And it's a big travel day, too, on top of that. So it's going to make things pretty messy at the airports and traveling. The timing on this storm is pretty bad. Even though it's going to be rain, it's still a very deep storm, very strong storm. And again, if we pull this out to the CONUS view here, you'll see the effects it has across the whole. So if we pull this out here, there could be severe weather with this too. It would not surprise me if this causes severe weather, because if we look at the dew point here, it's pulling up some pretty substantial amount of moisture here. So it would not surprise me if we see severe weather in the southeast, maybe a little more toward the Florida Panhandle, maybe the Mid-Atlantic. We're going to have to watch this, but look at how lopsided that looks. So this is Friday here. We're 50s in New York City, but look at Texas. Texas is in the teens, while New York City... Oh, these are dew points. My mistake. So these are dew points, but dew points are in the 50s in New York, and meanwhile you have dew points actually below zero in Texas, and actual air temperatures will be in the teens in Texas Friday morning, while New York City is going to be in the 50s. So this is very lopsided. The main part of this cold air is going down to the south, so it's going into Texas and the Midwest, and they're going to see the really bitter cold temperatures. We're going to get a glancing blow because of the track of it, but we will get into it. We will wind up getting into the cold air as well, but it's just not going to be Hudson Bay cold outbreaks. So we will not see record cold. It will be below normal, but it won't be anything substantial. While the South, like I said, Texas, it's going to be colder in Texas than it's going to be in New York for Friday, which is pretty crazy. And as we get to Saturday, maybe they start equalizing out, but it's going to be one hell of a cold blast for Texas for sure. So we'll have to watch the severe weather aspect of it. Right now, it's kind of too early to tell what's going to happen. We can also look at this too, which is another parameter. You can see all the moisture there. So we're going to have to see about severe weather, though. Then right now, it's too early to predict what's going to happen. But like I said, it would not be surprising if the storm causes more severe weather in the south for sure. So now let's go back and look at our skies, and we'll go back to the GFS, I guess. All right. Skies. All right. So this is the GFS, obviously low resolution model, but you see it should have mostly sunny skies tomorrow. And same thing for Tuesday. I think we should also be mostly sunny on Tuesday, but then Wednesday we'll start probably seeing some of those higher clouds rolling, and then we'll have more of the clouds on Thursday and Friday, obviously, with the storm system. And then we'll have to see what happens when the storm passes, if we clear out, or we're going to have to deal with a lot of lake effect stuff on Saturday. Sunday looks like probably might be sunnier, perhaps, but certainly maybe by Monday. But this is the GFS, and it is a ways out, of course, with the skies. Let's use a better model, RGM here, for the skies for tomorrow. And you see tomorrow here. Now, RGM is pretty encouraging. Gives us a mostly sunny day across the whole area here, Long Island and New Jersey, the whole tri-state area. Tuesday, we should have mostly sunny conditions. However, as we get later in the day on Tuesday, we may have to deal with some cirrus, mainly toward the evening. And then Wednesday, we'll be dealing with more of that cirrus, though the sun should still be out. All right, that is the RGM. And every model has their own different take on this, of course. Let's now go to the FV3. We know enough of the 0Z, so we'll just use the 12Z. This is the FV3. A little more aggressive with the clouds, as you see here, especially as we get toward the afternoon, but it has it sunny in the morning. Tuesday, definitely less aggressive with the clouds, and we would see more sun. That is the FV3. NAM as well. So this is the NAM. NAM keeps us mostly sunny tomorrow as well as Tuesday. However, like I said, other models don't. If we go to Ventu Sky here, which is the HRRR, for some reason they don't have a cloud feature on the HRRR on the site. I don't think they do. So if I go to HRRR, it's not going to. But I have to use the Ventu Sky site for this. So if we want to look at clouds for tomorrow, you'll see it's going to have a little bit of a different opinion. So it's HRRR, 8 a.m. clear, 10 a.m. Starting to see the clouds build a little bit over New Jersey. By noon, we're dealing with a cloud deck popping up across the area. So I'll have to see if that happens because, again, if you look at the satellite here, which I stupidly put away here, but if you look at the satellite, you see all these clouds off to the west. So it leads me to believe we may be dealing with some clouds tomorrow. We'll have to see. It's hard to tell right now, but because of the lake effect, because of there isn't that much of a spread between the dew point and the air temperature. If you have temperatures in the upper 30s around 40, you're going to want dew points probably the low 20s for clear skies or teens. Dew points are a little higher than that, so we have to see. There's several ways we can look at cloud formation on the models to see. There are several ways where we can do that, but this looks like a lot more clouds. Whereas Tuesday, yeah, it's a lot better for Tuesday. So Tuesday looks like it'll be the clearer day, but they both should be decent days. I kind of want to go over to the storm now and look at that. Let me go to windy.com. I want to look at this storm for Friday because it's a big travel day, and it's just the timing on the storm is not going to be good. So this is the windy.com model here, showing you the winds. This would be the European model, and you can see, we're going to be dealing with some pretty substantial wind gusts Friday morning here with this LLJ, gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. And that is, again, this is the European. I could go to the GFS, which doesn't look quite as frightening, but it's still pretty bad. Some pretty strong winds ahead of this, for sure. So we have to keep an eye on this. There's some pretty strong winds behind this. Look at that, 61. This is just offshore, but still, some of that could wind up hitting the coast. And then, of course, you're going to have high seas, too, on top of it. Some more coastal beach erosion as well with this storm as well. So, and again, the chance of thunderstorms is always a possibility as well with this storm. We're going to have to watch it. Obviously, it is a ways off for now. So I guess that's going to wrap up this. No, one more thing. Climate update for you. The 6 to 10 day and the 8 to 14. 6 to 10 day, obviously, we're going to be below normal because of that Arctic outbreak coming in, precipitation near normal. But if you go to the 8 to 14, it'll kind of evens out to be near normal. So that is going to wrap up this weather update. Thank you for watching and have a good night.